She never worked and lived to be 122 years old. The secret of the oldest man on the planet. Jeanne Calment was born in the year when the penultimate emperor of China ascended the throne. The first indoor hockey match was held in Canada, and Alexander Bell made the first catch of a telephone. A French woman died with Intel introduced the Pentium II. Bill Clinton became president of the United States for the second time, and the supercomputer defeated Garry Kasparov at chess for the first time. She has lived for more than 122 years, officially becoming the oldest person on the planet with a documented and verified age. Super long livers are considered people whose age officially reaches 110 years. There are not many of them at all, and those who are more than 115 in principle are few. The vast majority of them are women. They either smoked very little or did not smoke at all, never suffered from obesity, slowly aged. Although in the last years of their lives they became very weak, remained confined to a wheelchair, were practically blind and deaf. In the mid-1990s, some researchers believed that 115 years was the age limit that the human body could not overcome. However, both Jeanne Calment and several other super long livers refuted this statement. Today, experts have pushed this boundary even further, up to 150 years. Although they have no practical evidence, maybe it's just for now. She loved wine and never worked. French woman Jeanne Calment was born in February 1875 in Orel and died in August 1997 there, not far from the Mediterranean coast. In general, a great place to spend 122 years, not really going anywhere and not traveling. Only 2 world wars and epidemics of cholera and influenza could cause her some discomfort. In Jeanne's childhood, the life expectancy of a woman in France was 44 years, and 1.5 billion people walked around the world. She had outlived them all. She regularly appeared in the city's population censuses, participating in 16 from 1875 to 1975. Researchers of Calment's life have collected a bunch of certificates and documents about the birth, marriage, and death of both her loved ones and the woman herself. Jeanne survived her only daughter. She died in 1934 from a lung disease. Actually, that's why some scientists do not fully dispute the status of a super long-lived Calment. They say in 1997 it was her daughter who died, posing as her mother. And the forgery happened back in 1934, when the real Jeanne died, and her daughter, in order not to pay an impressive inheritance tax, pretended to be a mother. However, no serious evidence of this forgery was found, and the woman herself described the events that she had to witness quite accurately and mentioned the names of people she met on her life path. Calment allowed herself to drink a glass of port and smoke a cigarette, but not more than one a day. She liked to eat well and drink wine, ate cakes and chocolate almost every day, and preferred outdoor walks, tennis and roller skating to the company of people and guests. Since childhood, she had no material troubles. Her carefree life was provided first by her father, a shipbuilder, and then by her husband, a merchant. That's why she didn't have to work either at home or outside the house. Perhaps this is one of the secrets of longevity. Since the 1960s, Jeanne has been left all alone. All her relatives died for various reasons, and the family was not very fertile. She signed a special contract with a lawyer who wanted to buy a woman's house, according to which he had to pay her a certain amount annually from the age of 90 until her death. We can confidently say that the buyer could not imagine how much he made a mistake with the choice of a lonely old lady. The investment was terrible. He himself died 2 years before Calment, having paid twice as much as the house is worth, almost $200,000, but never moved into it. Jeanne was sent to a nursing home at the age of 110 after she almost burned down the house. In the frosty winter, the water froze in the boiler. The old lady decided to melt it with a candle, climbed on the table, and accidentally set fire to the insulation material. At the nursing home, she had a clear schedule, getting up at 15 to 7, prayer, gymnastics, and classical music in the Walkman player. 5 years later, she broke her hip while climbing the stairs to the nurses to shoot a cigarette. Jeanne survived the operation, quit smoking only 2 years later. Later she coped with the flu, which was supposed to finish her off, and every year she only became more famous. We were really excited, like an Egyptologist who, walking through the unexplored labyrinths of the pyramids, discovers an unknown room full of treasures. The authors of the book 120 Years of Jeanne Calment told. Having never suffered from serious chronic illnesses, the oldest woman on the planet died in the summer of 1997. 150 years. And to the landfill? Theoretically, the life expectancy of a person is not limited. In mid-September, headlines with such a thesis appeared in many reputable media. In theory, there is no difference between theory and practice, but in practice it is. Think of it as a coin flip. When you reach the age of 108, you flip a coin on your birthday. If an eagle falls out, you will live to see your next birthday. If tails fall out, you will die before you reach 109, says Anthony Davison, a statistician at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology and co-author of mathematical modeling of the chances of survival after 100 years. And if you reach the next birthday, the probability of death will not change. Following this logic, one would assume that a person can live forever if he is very lucky. However, although the average life expectancy of people has increased significantly over the last century, the maximum has not changed so much. According to Swiss modeling, the chances of living up to 130 years are 1 in a million, and up to 1,000 years, 1 in a quintillion. If you add up the age of all living beings in the history of the human species, this will not be enough. Biologists are not as optimistic as mathematicians. They estimate the probability of living as long as possible based on the stability of the body, its ability to return to normal functioning after illness. Over the years, whatever one may say, this stability decreases. It becomes easier for diseases to break through the protection. A super long-lived person can die even from a slight malaise. A group of scientists has determined a much clearer framework for the maximum limit of human life – 150 years. Longitudinal analysis of blood markers revealed a progressive loss of vitality and predicted the limit of human life expectancy. Fault tolerance is an internal biological property that, according to scientists, finally disappears in the interval of 120–150 years. It is difficult to get close to such a bar, and it is necessary to chase not just to live longer, but to live healthier longer. If you are inspired by this story and would like to learn more about health and beauty, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. With new and exciting content being added regularly, you will have access to a wealth of knowledge and information that will help you lead a healthier and more fulfilling life. So don't wait, subscribe now and join the journey towards youth and beauty.